We turn our attention to fashion and its connection to heritage. This country, of course, prides itself in its cultural diversity, and one distinctive way that each ethnic group stands out from one another is their traditional clothing. And one fashion designer who has fused some of these cultural prints and designs into his fashion lines is executive president of South African Fashion Designers Association, Sonwabile Ndamase. He is the man behind the iconic Madiba shirts, and he joins us in studio to talk about fashion and heritage. Sonwabile, always good to have you on Morning Live. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me once again.
It's a pleasure.
Yes.
So tell us, in your opinion, what is the link between fashion and heritage?
There's almost actually a very good link in between, because you must understand that a people without knowledge of their own history and culture, they are, and with their identity, are a lost people.
Yeah.
So therefore, what happened is with fashion, so it is an art form that the creative mind puts it together, and then at the end of the day, it gets into one, what we'll call it a realm, and then the other people start to see that.
Yeah.
So if then people actually do not understand their way of life, they usually actually, because their way of life as a culture, which is a mirror in which then the people's being is reflected on. So we then as designers start to create that and make you look beautiful as you are looking today.
Fantastic. So what are some of the cultural designs that you use in your fashion?
There has been quite a number of aesthetics that I usually use. For example, if you look at the waistcoat that I'm wearing, what we usually do is to look at the fabric that one utilizes. And then you see how best you can enhance that fabric so that it can have what we call a signature, an identity of an individual. And then that identity comes from within where you are coming from. Meaning that if now actually I'm a Pondo, so Dilimpondo, precisely. So what happened is that where I come from influences my signature in terms of how I create my collection.
Yeah.
If you are a Zulu, you will have then that as part of your influence, as in terms of, that's why then when you get into the catwalk in the European style and the European catwalk, they will always ask, where do you come from? What is this design?
Yeah.
Meaning, the meaning of the design. So therefore, what they're doing, they're asking about your culture. They're asking about, who are you? Where can I wear this? What does it mean? You must also understand, Aline, that one of the things that we do, color is playing a prominent role in terms of our designs as African community.
Yeah.
And therefore, we need as well to start now setting up our own colors for the international catwalk. So that culture needs to be instilled to the international, because we need not all the time to look at what is happening in Europe.
Yeah.
And then we start saying, what are the colors of the season now? And then we start playing the role of international, trends.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we're missing our own culture.
Cultural.
And guess what is happening? We are again colonizing ourselves in terms of our own designs, in terms of our own economy, because we always believe that we're less important than the other international space.
That's the whole idea, I imagine, is that also, when South African fashions do get onto the runway, that people turn around and say, that's South Africa. You just know. You know that comes from our country, and it's, our heritage just screams out. In the photograph, just before they showed now, before they came back to us, it was the famous Madiba shirt. And we've spoken about this many, many times. And I think what was quite wonderful about Madiba was the fact that it didn't matter where he was, at the biggest meetings and the general assemblies at the UN, or you name it, he still kept the heritage of South Africa and the culture with that shirt, wearing them wherever he was. Now, how did this all come about? You made a couple of them for him. What was the brief you were given? And when you sat down and chatted to him, what did he say to you?
Funny enough, because the background actually came around because I was known by then. I was designing for the family, that is Mama Winnie, Madikizela Mandela then. And then I was introduced as this particular designer that is designing for the family. And then within that Tata actually, also we always call him Tata. And then Madiba actually, what happened is that the brief was around that he wanted to look unique.
Yes.
He wanted to look comfortable. He wanted when he dresses up, he must be in a position when then he comes out of a meeting, which is the boardroom.
Yes.
He must be in a position of going out and address the people in the rally. So you must understand the combination of those two worlds. How do you put them together? So therefore, he must also feel comfortable. He must not look like a joke when he gets out there.
Yeah.
And that was part of the brief. And also, partly, it was also for his health, because the jackets and all other forms of dressing were also very heavy for his body. So therefore, it was part of the brief that he wanted something that is more lighter.
Yes.
And that he could feel comfortable. And he underlined to say, please, therefore, do not give me the kaftan kind of shirts, because those ones were known to be the signature of O.R. Tambo.
Okay, so he didn't want to go there.
He didn't want to go there.
So he needed to come up with something fresh and different.
He needed to come up to something that is fashionable, but still different, but still will enhance who we are as African community across the diaspora. And then that was part of the brief. And then he started to say, this is who then I would like to be. Then when he started to say, wow, a Pondo knows how to put garments together. And it was such an overwhelming phenomenon at that time.
Amazing. See, now that is what you call taking heritage with fashion and joining the two together. I mean, is that one of the best examples that you can give? Because in my opinion, it is.
I mean, for example, we are not, look at it now, there is this movie that is being run about the Winnie Madikizela Mandela and as the wife of the former president, which is known internationally. If you look at Jennifer Hudson, he is dressing isiXhosa, as in terms of, or isimpondo, mixture of the two. Now, what is happening is that we always misses out the opportunities that are coming in the international arena. Now, do you know that that is part of an opportunity of that culture that we will need then to capitalize on it and start creating designs along that to create job opportunities for our community in the rural area and start making these. This is where then the DTI needs to come into the fore and play their role in protecting those designs, in making it a point that people could identify that these are South African.
Fantastic.
These are who we are. Now the whole world is going to be looking at that film. It's going to be launched as well in South Africa. And guess who's going to be getting the stick at the end of it? The international is going to be maybe done in China, elsewhere. Again, we are losing where we should be doing it. That's our own culture. And we are not at all utilizing those opportunities every now and again. That's why then we bring the young and upcoming designers to start giving them themes so that at the end of the day they could understand that whenever they get themselves into those particular platforms, they must have an identity. They must not again use these international designs and their designs and mimic them, because we've been used as a muse internationally. They always, because they've run out of ideas. Guess what they are doing? They come into our African continent and they steal our designs, they steal our motifs, they steal our colors, and they go back and use it. They bring back to us. And now we start buying it because it has got a new name.
It's insane. It is insane. Anything's for sale, but not our heritage. And that is something we've got to remember. Sonwabile, it's always lovely speaking to you. Thank you very much for coming in and chatting to us about fashion and about heritage and all of that that makes us South African. Sonwabile Ndamase, he is the Executive President of the South African Fashion Designers Association.